One thing that people are a little bit afraid of cooking is fish. I want to show you a simple way of making sure that your fish is cooked just right. So we're going to cook some sea bass and I'll show you how that's done. So for the fish, what we're going to do is flip it over. As you can see, it's skin side up. Then all we're going to do is just very lightly season the skin before it goes in the pan. Like anything you're cooking that's been in the fridge, give it time to come up to temperature. What you don't want to be doing is putting cold meat or fish or anything like that straight into a hot pan. If you do that, all it's going to do is tense up and make it tough. So we've got a non-stick frying pan. What we're not going to do is cook it in actual oil. So I know that's a strange thing to say when you're just watching me put some oil in the pan. But what we're going to do is just kind of season it. So we're going to put some oil in and then and this will just help the skin not to stick, because what we're going to do is use the oils from the fish to cook it in. So just very quickly oil your pan, take out the excess with some kitchen roll. Okay, so what we've done is we've got a bit of heat into the pan, minute or two just for it to heat up, and then what we're going to do is put the fish in skin side down. Now just to stop it sticking as I put it in, I'm just going to give it a bit of movement. Again, make sure your pan is big enough for whatever the amount of fish you're putting into there. So this is for 4 people. And there we go. And so we're just going to leave that to sit there on that heat whilst it cooks through. And we're just going to add to the top, just whilst it's cooking, a little bit of pepper and some sea salt, and there we go. And we're just going to leave that now on that heat to cook through from the skin. Now what the skin's doing is the skin's protecting the fish itself, and it's going to cook from the underneath. I would give it a little bit of a movement, make sure they stay separated. It just makes it easier when you're taking them out of the pan. Make sure they don't stick. It keeps your skin intact. So what we're not doing is moving the food around too much, but whilst it's taking that heat to the skin, it'll just stop it from sticking. Depends what you're doing with your fish as well. So this is going to go on a pasta dish. The skin's actually going to come off at the end, and we're going to cook the pasta in and the sauce. We're going to cook the sauce within this pan and use the natural oils from the fish that is now starting to cook in for the sauce. If you're going to serve it with something like vegetables, potatoes, that kind of thing, you might want to just serve it with the skin on, therefore you're going to let it crisp up. So we're going to keep the temperature a reasonably high temperature for now, and then I'll show you what to do next. So as you'll see, although we've not added any oil to the pan, it's not sticking. And it's the oils that you can now see here in the pan of the omega-3s coming out of the skin. We're at the point now where you can see the underside is starting to cook through, and we've just got this sort of stripe here. So we're going to turn it down to just under halfway and leave that for a minute or so. I'm just going to add some butter to the pan. Now as you can see, the butter's starting to melt away. It's not gone brown, so the pan's not too hot. That's the important thing at this point. And we're just going to let it sit in that butter for a short amount of time before we turn the heat off. So we're going to turn the heat completely off, and just flip that fish over. You can see that beautiful brown skin on the underside. And the fish is almost cooked through. So everything's intact. We've not used any extra oils apart from the butter at the end. And most of that's still sitting in the pan. All we're going to do is leave that off the heat for around 2 minutes and let it just, the residual heat in the pan is just going to cook the top of the fish, cook it all the way through. So you have a nice crispy skin. When we flip it over, we're going to have fish that is perfectly done. Okay, so that's had enough time. We're just going to flip that over. And there you go, perfectly cooked sea bass. Now you cook it exactly the same way if you're doing salmon or trout or any skin on fish. Cook it in exactly the same way. Your timings will vary. But this has been pretty much 6 to 7 minutes from start to finish. And yeah, we're going to serve this with pasta, but you can have it with whatever you like. Enjoy your dinner.